And this week's guest, we have the wonderful Kojo, the person that nearly killed me on the motorway. But he's here. Let's see what's happening now. Hold on. Right. You see? Oh man,
you can't hear me, can you?
I can't hear you, bruv. What was you like at school? Because whenever I see you, all I see is a smile. I've always said this to you. All I ever see is a smile on his face. You must have had some sad moments in your life, but what was you like at school?
School for me was, I always got in trouble for what I said, not what I did. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, I would get in trouble for what I said. It was never something that I did. I wasn't a bad child and that would get into trouble and mix up and, bring police to your house and all that. Like I wasn't that kind of child. I was very cheeky though. You know what I mean? Like I always had to have the last word.
The last say.
Yeah, so even like my tutor, Miss Wakeling, like she would get frustrated with me because I'd always make the crowd, the class laugh. Mm-hmm. So no matter what she had for me, I'd always make the crowd laugh. So that's kind of where my trouble came from. Like it would probably be like what I said and being cheeky and answering back all the time. So, but in school, I was very popular. I was the funny guy. I was never silly though. I was never quite like doing silly stuff. I was more just witty from a young age. And I knew even like older boys, bullying and all that other stuff, like, deterring them from me was always, I was the guy that made them laugh. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, I was accepted into many circles because of the humor. And then I also knew from a very young age in school that I could make people laugh, or I could be slick with my words to avoid drama. Do you know what I mean? Mm. And sometimes I'd let people win.
Mm. So let's talk about drama, because I've heard a rumor that you wanted to be a drama teacher.
I think that that was something that when I was coming out of school, drama for me allowed me to really express myself. It allowed me to not deal with things that I was dealing with in my own life. Do you know what I mean? It allowed me to play different characters. In school, when we did our GCSE, I actually wrote the play that we performed, and we all got A's.
Okay.
Yeah, we all got A's, and I remember the excitement of writing something that we was all gonna perform, and then actually performing it as well. So realistic, and I remember that was a very pivotal moment in my career and my life, because it was choose double drama or choose PE, right? And all the man then went and done PE because that's like 2 hours of kicking ball. Okay. I was the only one that chose drama because I just felt like I'm already in the school team. I'm doing sports and stuff. I don't need 2 hours of football. Do you know what I mean? I really was passionate about drama, and I really liked the teacher as well. And I felt like that teacher was getting the best out of me as a human being.
Okay.
So me going to drama and everyone else going to football was very telling down the line.
Did anyone look at you funny like drama? What are you doing drama for? You can get a
of course, all the man them, man, you get called everything, innit? Like we did all that fool. I might as well have done ballet.
Yeah.
As far as people concerned, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing all that foolishness for? But it made me happy, and the teacher was great, so I had fun doing it. And I love football, but I was already doing enough football. I didn't need to do 2 hours of PE.
Yeah, well, we won't talk about who you support. That's a different story. So, you then went on. What was your first gig like? I know I was there. I remember seeing. Well, I think I was.
Right. So you was there. Rudy was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was you two. First gig was at Middlesex University.
That's right.
Selby Centre in Tottenham. It was hosted by Latif.
Yeah.
and Latif was obviously in the same school as me, class as me.
Yeah.
For the comedy school. And we had our end of class showcase coming up. But Latif was hosting the show. And he was like, Kojo, I'm hosting the show. Like, if you want to come and perform. And I was so drained of Rudy and Keith keeping us doing the same stuff. Right?
Over and over again. Yeah.
Over and over again. I was getting so frustrated with it because I was like, when are we going to get to perform?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like, no, keep working on it. Wait for the showcase. So when there was a window to kind of actually go and actually tell these jokes to someone that I'd rehearsed for like 2 months, Latif gave me the opportunity. Latif gave me my first show, and he was hosting. And I remember when he called me, or they said, "Oh, can the comedian come to the stage or whatever?" I was so nervous, but excited at the same time. So basically, I remember walking to the stage funny, and then that was kind of just to let people know that something funny was about to happen. And I remember I was standing next to these girls, and we was all like watching the show. And then when they called me, she goes, "Oh my gosh, you're the comedian." All this time they didn't know. I just was chilling with them.
Yep.
And I went up there, and I remember telling my first joke, and the place went like mad.
Yep.
It went mad. And that's the moment when I was like, that feeling of immediate response and adulation and love and laughter, and it came from me. That feeling all these people feel came from me. I fell in love. There's not been a love like it, because I think because of how I was raised and what I'd been through up until that point. I used to play football. I was bullied at football. I was playing with the older kids, and they convinced me that I weren't good enough and all of these things. And here I am finding something that no one can't tell me otherwise. Nobody. Yep. This isn't something that you can come and convince me I'm not good at this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I found my calling. I found my gift. And even with football and everything else, comedy was always prevalent. It was always around everything that I did when I was working with young people. Comedy was always being used. I just didn't know what it is. I didn't know how to harness it. And when I told that first joke, it just changed everything.
You mentioned working with young people. What did you do with the young people?
So I used to go to a youth club called Springfield Boys Club in East London, and that's where
I saw the gang.
It was like we went to summer camp, we went to weekends away, we did activities, and I became very sporty, and I knew about competition and challenging and teamwork and all of these things. And leaving Hackney was a great thing, because Hackney is a very well-known, renowned area. Do you know what I mean? And it's like if you don't get the blessing of being able to leave there, you think that's all life has to offer.
Yep.
So being there, doing cubs and scouts and all of these things, we was always kept busy. Never had time to just hang around doing nothing.
Right.
So when I went to the youth club, I graduated and became a leader as well. And then how they used to look after us. Now it's my turn to look after the next generation coming through.
Okay.
On football team, I had all this stuff. So then when there was an opportunity to go to America and work with young people out there, absolutely. And I'd always been fascinated with America.
Okay. Well, yeah, because you frequent to America quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
Do you know what's funny, right? Today I'm going to post something about my mum. And obviously my mum's no longer here. And she was fascinated with America. She actually wanted to move to America from Ghana, but she couldn't get a visa, so she came to London, where she had me. But the original plan was always to go to America. And then when she got the opportunity to go to America, she left the UK and went there and was there for like 25 years, had my two brothers there, and that was her in her element. But when she passed is when I found out that she was an actress. My mum never told me she was an actress.
Okay. So that probably is where you got your skills from, then?
Absolutely. Today, like that moment made me realize how much me and my mum are the same person. The fascination with America, the fascination of knowing that more is available and not accepting less, and sacrificing time with your children to be able to provide something great. All of these things are kind of roping in to how similar me and my mum were. And I think my fascination with America is, American TV lit my eyes up when I was young. It lit my eyes up. All those, Uncle Phil was my dad. Bill Cosby was my dad. Do you know what I mean? They raise, especially when you're in foster care and your dad isn't around or your mum is not around, you look for family and other things, right? And these things and these stories meant so much to me. So to get closer to those people, to get closer to it, was something that I wanted to do. It wasn't just a fascination of just America as a country. It was just more about this place has raised my mentality, my mindset. So you know, proms and family reunions and all of these things that I guess was lacking in my world. I wanted to be around people that thought like that. So that's where I think the fascination come in America.
That's really good, because you could have went the other way, because we know what Hackney is like, and you could have went the other way, but you chose to go in a different route. So comedy. So I would ask you, like, how has comedy benefited you in your life?
Oh, I mean, that's a big question. I think it's there's a lot of answers there. I think comedy. The first thing comedy done is really gave me confidence, like honest confidence, because I think being confident as a child isn't the same as being confident as a man. You know.
Okay.
And knowing, not hoping, not maybe, like knowing this is your talent, this is your gift. It can't be taken away from you. I've sat in that knowledge for many years. Highs and lows. I've always been thankful that I know what my talent is. I know what my gift is. So even if I'm going through a bad period or a great period, I could lose everything, but I'm still this. This is still mine. Do you know what I mean? No one can't take this. You can take money, you can take this, you can take that, but you can't take me, like who I am. That's my biggest asset, is who I am. So for me, comedy has allowed me to see the world. Comedy has allowed me to make good money. Comedy has hurt me. Comedy has broken my heart. Comedy has been the best relationship that I probably will ever have. Because through the highs and lows, the loyalty to it remains. And I think comedy has definitely allowed me to see the funny side of things, but comedy has also made me see deep pain.
So how would you handle deep pain, knowing that you have this comedy element behind it? Do you infuse the comedy element into the pain, or is it something that you just ride and get over?
You know, right? Part of being a comedy is like having a third eye, and that third eye shows you things that most people don't see, and that could be a very dark place. Right? It can be a very dark place, because whilst you find the funny in things that most people won't find the funny, when it goes the other way around, when you're at a funeral or you're overthinking, that third eye shows you what's really going on that no one else can see, and then you might think you're going crazy sometimes.
Indeed, sometimes I often find myself walking down the road laughing to myself and looking around.
Oh. Right, exactly. So for me, it's like the pain side of it kind of lets you know that there's yin and yang, right? There's good and bad, and you need both. Yeah, to respect both, you need both. So I think comedy, for me, the pain side of it, you know, it's like a season. It's never the all year round. It's just a season, and it makes you respect the good days.
As a young comic, right, you elevated very quick, and you became lovable. That's the word I would choose for you. You was a lovable person, all right, and you elevated through the ranks very quick, even overtaking me, right? But what I'm trying to say to you is that elevation, did it make you big-headed? Did it make you? How did that affect your ego?
Honestly, I don't think comedy's ever affected my ego. I think I feel like comedy allowed me to be who I truly am, who I wanted to be. Comedy put me in a position of power, right? But what did I do with that power?
Okay.
Did I keep it to myself? Because that would have been ego. To know that I'm flying and just go by myself. No comedy fun house, no MTV, no nothing. Just go and do your thing. Comedy is a solo sport. It's not a team sport. But I was a team player.
You was indeed. And you mentioned MTV. How did that come about, MTV?
we had been doing corks.
Mm-hmm. We'll get on to Corks Wine Bar in a minute.
But
actually, we should do Corks first because, like you're going to say, Corks MTV. Then, so Corks Wine Bar. How did that come about? Because I know originally me and Mr. C was doing a thing in Corks Wine Bar, and we stopped, and then you just took it over with great impotence, bro. How did that come about?
I called C. And I said, I want, because what we used to do before, like Corks became Corks, we used to do talent shows. We used to do showcases, and we had people like Sway and Cherry V and all these people when they were younger.
Okay.
And just it was a talent show called Give Me Some More. And I remember I just had too many people in the team, too much things going on, and I was just like, let me just do a comedy club. I went to America, me and Reggie, so we was doing the CBBC show at the time, and then I went to. And I was doing like One Extra as well, like contributing on One Extra. So we went to New York. We saw Will, Sink, Ian Edwards, who I'm with now.
Yeah.
All these people, and we was like, bro, like, when we got there, so Mike Epps, Kevin Hart, all these people, Michael Blackson, in this comedy club. And I was like, yo, I lost my mind. Because up until that point, it was Hackney Empire and it was all this other stuff. And if you went on the Real McCoy or anything after that, blouse and skirt, you weren't nothing. Yeah, you came on when the curtain was still on.
Yeah.
They never drew that curtain back for you. You was the new kid. Yeah. So I was like, no, we need something like this every week in England. We need something like this, not every month, not every 2 weeks, every week. And I remember you guys were doing Come Make Me Laugh. And then I was like, I remember that place. And again, it wasn't even thinking Central London, West End. I never thought none of that. That could have been in Brixton.
Yeah.
If you had something in Brixton, I would have come to you and said, look, I'm looking for a venue.
Yeah.
I wasn't that smart to kind of be like, oh, Central London. I didn't know that.
Okay.
So I was just like, you don't have something there. You lot ain't doing it anymore. So I said, is there a way that I could try and do something there? Because I used to party there as well.
Yeah. Corks Wine Bar.
So I was like, oh, see, like, can you introduce me to Laura? So I met Laura, and Laura is probably like one of the most important people in my career because that was a white woman who had a club in the West End and allowed black people to come there, bro. Indeed. Like, people don't understand you can't even get that now. You can't even get that now. And even back then, there was loads of parties and raising that, but for somebody and she wasn't like this big West End. She wasn't charging us $5,000. She was just like, look, £100.
There you go.
A little £100. You get 100 people in there, you get your £100 back. I gave her £200, and that's all she ever got from me.
Okay.
Now for a woman to obviously she respected Mr. C. And Mr. C passed that kind of torch on.
Yeah.
And allowed me to kind of do my thing there. Because you lot used to use the other side, if you remember.
Yeah. Just the one little section.
Yeah, we brought it into the main dance floor.
Yeah. All right, Kojo. All right.
no, but I'm just saying, like, you see how like just the shift of furniture can just open things up, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, there's too many people coming in to just do the other side. Let's do the main room. If you remember at first, everybody was facing the DJ box.
That's right. Yeah.
Then we turned the chairs around.
Made everybody face the other way. Yeah.
It's just how much furniture can really change the energy and vibe of something. And that was it. I followed John Simmett's lead about, bringing the Americans over. I had people stay at the yard. I had Kevin Hart at the house. Willie Robo, Rob Stapleton, all these people. I just had him at the house. I didn't know about hotel. I knew I obviously had to fly him in.
Yeah.
I knew about hotel and all the other stuff. You come in, stay at the crib, take your money, you go back.
And then go back to business.
Yeah, like they just wanted to come and have an experience that they hadn't had before in England. And what I was doing without knowing was building relationships that was later served me down the line, right?
Yeah.
But and through that, obviously, we had many great nights where you and everyone else came down and blessed it, and we grew there. And I think we were like superheroes. I wanted a place where whether you was performing or not, you was the guy.
Yeah.
You was the girl. You was a superstar. Whether you was on or not that night, people had seen you lot before, and that was the only place, I'm telling you, where I wasn't around obviously before I came, but it would be very interesting. I mean, outside of television, and I know there was like loads of comedy shows before, but to be superheroes every week, I don't think anyone ever done that.
No, we still haven't done it. It's something that you've done uniquely yourself, which is great. You done how many one-man shows have you done so far today?
Fresh Prince of Hackney. Then I done Truth Hurts. Then I did Live and Kicking. And then I did and then I'd say I did my latest one. Which is 4 siblings and a funeral. So like 4.
Because people don't actually know what goes into making an hour special.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work where you don't have to repeat jokes you've done before. It's fresh material. You've got to try it. You've got to test it, which is sometimes what people don't seem to understand. That you might go to a place to test out segments of your material, and then when you go to do your one-man show, the whole thing pieces together. But you might get the odd person saying, "Oh, I've heard that already," because they don't understand the process. It is a long process, and you've done 4 of them, and that's a great respect to you, brother. I've only done 2, but respect to you. So, where is it for you? Like now, what is it that you feel that you need to now do? Because you've done so much, and we'll get onto that in a minute. But what is it that you feel that you want to do now?
Now it's about movies and film, TV and film. That's why I'm in LA, because it's like in England they don't marry comedians with TV and film. They'll give you a radio show, they'll give you a talk show, but they won't put you in a film. Why are we so comfortable watching Americans? Cat Williams, Kevin Hart, Chappelle, who's not really an actor. Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, but you just naturally know film's the next thing for them. When we're on stage, we are performing, we are acting. Most of us ain't the same off stage. When we are on there, it is a skill that we are doing. We are convincing you of the story that we're telling you. It requires performance. It requires facial expression. It requires all of these beats. Comedians have proven the ability to make a paying audience laugh in front of them, not something they can talk over. So why is it that we can count on one hand the amount of stand-up comedians in the UK that have gone into movies?
Who?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I understand.
So for me, it's like, just because it doesn't happen where I am doesn't mean it's not going to happen for me. Sometimes it's not about changing who you are, it's about changing where you are.
Yes.
Right? You can't keep complaining about where you are when there's other places available. I could sit in England and keep cussing and saying what's going on. But I got tired of also being the revolution for everything. I always got tired of Kojo's gonna start this. Like, why can't I have something that's already set for me so I can just jump in? Had somebody done a weekly comedy club, I wouldn't have done Corks. I wouldn't have had to do it. I could have just been a comedian that just came and performed, but it wasn't happening. And because, you know, why can't someone just put a stand-up show on MTV? Why? Why is it? So I did it because no one was doing it, not because I wanted to. I wish that someone else was doing it so I could just be a comedian. And out here, I can just be a comedian. I don't have to set up nothing. I ain't got that because it's already been laid out for me. And I just got tired of being in front of the game. I got tired of being in front of the game. It was a very hard place to be. And here, film and television, you know, I have a sitcom in development. I have a sitcom in development about my childhood. I have the Funhouse documentary coming, which I'm going to call everybody about. I have about 20 projects, bro, that I've written over the years, film and television, 20.
Easy, Tiger.
Movies sitting there. Action, rom-com, a horror. I've been quietly just being creative, writing. So I had to come to the place, number one, where the best are. Number two, where they're looking for you.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for you here. You ain't got to, can you come and see? No, they go out, agents go out, TV people go out to the comedy clubs. They're looking for something different. They're looking for it. I need to be in that environment. So for me, what now looks like is acting. I do acting classes as well, and try to work on my American accent as well, and all of these things. And I think, this is where I'm supposed to be right now. This is just where I'm supposed to be right now. A lot of the stuff going back in the UK, like, it doesn't excite me because I feel like I've done a lot of things. I just think there's another level, and I'm just going to do it my way.
Look, kudos to you, bro. Yeah. You became a father in 2018. How did that change your life, or has it changed your life?
It changes everyone's life, whether you're there or not, because it's now the responsibility of another life. I think a lot of us know how to make £5 stretch a whole week, right? but is that an option when you've got a child?
Yeah.
So for some, it makes them quit their passion, right, and do the responsible thing. And maybe, like, especially with what we do, you gotta go and get a job. You gotta get a job that pays all the time. You ain't sending invoices, right? You have people who say, okay, now I've got to step up the passion and make sure that it works. Make sure that it bears fruit. It's responsibility, right? It's responsibility. It's partnership with the parent. The other parent. It's fear of the unknown. It's trauma. Am I going to be like my dad?
Okay.
It's all of these things, and it's only when you become a parent that you realize your parents didn't know shit either. And as much as we put so much pressure on them, just because they became something, don't mean that they were ready for it. Doesn't mean that they had experience with it. Doesn't mean that you know what I mean? Like, we put so much pressure on parents because we think, you come into the world saying, well, you're responsible for me. Yeah, but don't mean that they got everything right, or they're gonna get everything right. And also, it's a journey.
Being a father, bro, is a learning process, and you never stop learning with kids. You can never stop learning with kids. All right. So after your child is born, you then now did Britain's Got Talent. What made you go into Britain's Got Talent? That was in 2019, if I'm right. Yeah, am I right?
Yeah. 2017, 2019. I had just shot a movie.
Okay.
The Weekend.
Your movie. Yes, I remember that movie.
And that movie dragged me to hell.
Okay.
That movie dragged me to hell. Yeah? Because I did not go with my gut instinct. That was the first time in my whole life I didn't go with my gut instinct. I allowed people to manipulate me. I allowed people who I felt knew more than me steal from me and rob me.
Okay.
My name was all over the movie. It was Kojo's film, but Kojo didn't have the control that everybody thought he did, because I gave that control to somebody who knew more than me, I felt. And I trusted somebody that I felt went to film school and everything and knew more than me. But off the back of that film, all the issues that came of it was attached to my name. And nobody even cared about how I was feeling in that process. It was just, well, you told us to come here, blah, blah, blah. There's people that have never done a film since and won't do a film since.
Okay.
That had ego and attitude. So that set me in a dark space. And then I was in a lot of debt around then as well. I came to LA and then I came back to London. I gave up my radio job because I wanted to do film and television.
Because you was on Choice, wasn't it? Choice FM?
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
The extra. So I gave up that. I decided I had enough of radio. Mm-hmm. They wanted me to stay and do another show, but I didn't want to. I just wanted to really put everything into the film stuff. So there I was being extorted at the time. There was a lot going on. Mm-hmm. And then I met my son's mother, and that was probably the best first time I came up for air. No one knew this, but that was the first time I came up for air. Mm-hmm. And then when my son was coming and my son arrived, I was like, okay. And in that time, I was reading a lot. That's the first time I ever really sat down and read books. And it was all autobiographies. I started with Kevin Hart's book.
Okay.
Read Kevin Hart's book and I was like, wow. You know, like when you feel like everything's on top of you and then you hear someone else's problem.
Right.
And you realize, shut your mouth and be thankful that you're going through this.
I hope you read my book one day, bro.
I will. But it's like it's like you think you got problems, so you drop your problems on the floor and see what everyone else dropped.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, let me take my thing. Let me take that.
Yeah.
Let me take that like these little moments.
Yeah. So that person need more help.
Right. So I was like Tiffany Haddish's story, Taraji Henson, Common, Charlemagne.
Yeah.
All of these books I'm reading about people that I admire. Some of them I know. And to hear their journeys, it really made me go, wow. And the day I finished Kevin Hart's book is the day I found out I was going to become a dad.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And 2 days after that, Britain's Got Talent hit me. And it was like, oh yeah, well, you know, we're trying to do, we're looking for comedians, blah, 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 blah. Now, bro, I told him no about 5 times. And then my boy Joseph, who you know, my boy Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph was like, bro, are you mad? Like, bro, this is a good opportunity, bro. He said, this is a good opportunity and you can't think just for you no more. And your ego, you got to think about Rose. You got to think about what this could do for him. And in my head, it was more fear. It's like, why do I need to go on? Why do I need to go on Britain's Got Talent #1 with all the stuff that I done? Why the hell they calling me with all the stuff that I done? Why they don't know the stuff that I done? And then it really made me realize that as loud as we think we can be as black people, we are a whisper. We are a whisper when it comes to this English
industry.
We are 2%. If you heard the sound of 2%, it would be a whisper. So me worried about what 2% of this country think, that would hold me back. I have an opportunity to go and speak to 95% of this country who have never heard of me, have never seen me, don't know nothing about me, and I get to be the new guy with 20 years experience. I'm going to go and show these people that I am not the problem here. I'm going to show the people that it's you lot's fault that you lot haven't heard of me. It's not mine. I've been here. I went on the show. I had £30 in my account. I had to get my fiance at the time, my son there, her sister, Longers.
Okay, yeah.
So a couple of other people came, I think. Bro, I didn't even know how I was gonna get back home.
Okay.
But no risk, no reward. So we went down there. We took the train there, and it was like the longest penalty kick ever. I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
All of that was going for the whole day, bro. there was 2 shows. They take 2 shows. There was a first show and there was a second show. And then I was in the middle of the second show. I will say I felt prioritized on the show because they knew like this ain't new to me.
Right.
So they gave me a lot of like backstory time and, you know, family and all the other stuff. So I felt confident, but I still didn't know what I was going to do joke-wise. You got to hand your jokes in, but I handed in a couple. I didn't know what order I was going to do them in, none of that.
Yeah.
Everyone in the green room was like, Simon Cowell. Nah. I went on the show. I didn't know how many rounds there were. I didn't know about the golden bar. I didn't know you can win money.
Okay.
I didn't know none of that. I signed up for me, instead of going to next week in front of 200 people.
You wanted to be a witness.
Let me go and do a show in front of this 2,000 people. It was a show to me. It wasn't a competition. It was a show.
Right.
Because straight after this, I'm gonna go and do some foolishness for £50 or something.
Yeah.
So let me go and do a show. That's all it was. I avoided Simon because I'd done the research on the show. Simon don't like comedians. That's not really his thing. So I avoided him. But that's how God works. Because when you ask God for something, he's going to create the door. But you see that door he creates? It's going to make you scared.
Okay.
It's going to bring fear into you. All that was going through my head is, what are people going to say about me when they see me? It's never, what am I going to be funny? Am I going to do well? That was the least of my concern. It was what, imagine, this is an opportunity for me and my family, and all I'm thinking about is, how is this going to make people that don't care about me feel?
So you was actually looking at, you know what words, I was going to use the word backstabbers, but let's not use that word. You was just looking at, it from a wrong angle, to tell the truth. You was looking at other people rather than looking at for yourself.
Sometimes we won't do things in our life because we care about what other people who don't care about you do.
Right.
And it was a thing, like I asked God for something and God gave it to me in this way. Do I know this is God, or do I think, or am I going to do my own thing? Because some people be praying but still want to do their own thing. And I was like, no, this is God. I know this is God. I know it is. Because he put me through this foolishness. Why have I got to do this? With everything that I've done, why am I in a position where I've got to do this? And all I kept on hearing is, this is your way. This is how it's going to work for you. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. This is the journey I'm taking you on. Are you going to be obedient?
Okay.
Because what you want is right behind this uncomfortability. I'm going to make you uncomfortable because I want to see if you're going to listen to me or do your own thing. And I was obedient. I went through the fire. I knew everything everybody was going to say, which they said when the show came out. I knew it. I was ahead of everyone. I knew what people were going to say when they saw me in that show. What I didn't know is the blessing that would come from it. Not only did I perform in front of 2,000 people that day, I ended up performing in front of 150 million.
There you go, bro. Because of the internet, because of the worldwide media. Yeah?
I ended up performing 150 million because God separated me on that show by giving me Simon's buzzer. The one thing that I didn't give a damn about.
Okay.
There's people that have won the show that haven't had my views. This was never about winning Britain's Got Talent. This is about being special and being different. 150 million views. Trending #1 on YouTube for 4 days. If that's normal, then what other people have done that? Why has the whole of Africa gone crazy? Everyone's mum on WhatsApp is passing this around. It was a life-changing moment. I got my agents in LA from that show. This is all because I took £30 out of my account and I got me and my little family on the train I went to do this thing that I knew everybody was like, why is Kojo on there? Why is Kojo on there? Why is Kojo on there?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's deeper than what people see. It's the journey that you haven't seen. It's all the stuff that I went through. It's being in a room by myself, feeling like I've helped everyone and no one cares about me. And me saying, and the moment my son came is the moment I stopped caring about what other people think, because now I've got to worry about what he thinks. And that was liberating to me when my son came, because I couldn't help but help people. I couldn't. I've said to myself, forget it. I'm just going to do my own thing 1,000 times, Peter. I've said it 1,000 times. I always find myself back helping people. When my son came, that changed.
Okay. So your son actually probably opened your eyes. He was a blessing.
I'm helping him. That's what I'm helping. Because I've got to help somebody. I can't be in this planet and not help someone. But I shifted who I was helping.
Right.
It became about him. So I did Britain's Got Talent, got Simon Cowell's Golden Buzzer, life-changing, and it propelled me. And it's a moment that can never be taken away from me. That happened. That happened. All live at the Apollo. I'm one of the only people that should have done the show that hasn't done the show based on what I've done. Hey, that's not my portion. That's not my journey. I can sit and be mad at that and be, why have I been overlooked? Why has Kojo, find your own way? Because I always find a way. That's one thing about me. I always find a way. And it comes back to what we spoke about earlier. You can take everything away from me, but the most prized asset that I own is me.
That's right. You and your comedy.
You know what I mean? And my character and how I deliver and how I show up. So that Britain's Got Talent was one of the best things I ever did, because it propelled me, it showcased me, it put me across the world. I was traveling around the world. For real. We did a national tour. And then obviously the pandemic happened. Yeah. And people like me and you and our pool of comedians, when we lose stuff or things slow down, we've been here before.
Indeed.
We've been here before. This is light work. We've been here before. People that have never lost, they're the most frightened because they've never been there. We've been here before, Peter. So I can go and take risks. I can go and feel free to fly and be out in LA and dream big. Because if I lose everything, I've been there before. I know how to come out of that. You know what I mean? So Britain's Got Talent definitely opened doors, changed my life for the better.
Good on that. Would you consider yourself to be a religious person, or is this something that come up? Yeah. And is this something new to you, or have you always been a religious person, practice or whatever?
I've always been a religious person because that's how I was raised. There's one thing to be taught something, and then there's one thing to contain it, right? Someone can tell you something, but you don't contain it. It doesn't mean anything. You don't really. It's like, yeah, whatever, mom. But I was always conscious of Christ. I was always conscious of a higher being. I was always conscious that kept me in line. Beyond my parents and my guardians telling me what to do, I always felt like I was being watched. I knew I was being watched because of how my life transpired. When you calculate what happened to me, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I shouldn't be around Dave Chappelle. I shouldn't be around Kevin Hart. I shouldn't be around these people. Not the numbers that I was given, not the cards that I was dealt. I shouldn't be doing none of this. Man, if there ain't a God, I wouldn't be doing half of the stuff. Being able to galvanize everybody and say, yo, we're doing a comedy club. Here's your dates. Everyone got free shows in the next 3 months. Organizing all of those people. I came after you guys. You lot taught me. I saw what you guys did. I did my little spin to it. How many people have organized us like I did?
Not many, bro. Not many. In fact,
the
only person who does that is John. Well, he doesn't even do it. No, John Simmet was that.
But even with John,
he didn't do it on your scale.
John gave me the blueprint.
There you go.
John gave me the blueprint, and I shot the 3. But he gave me the ball, because that's why I went with him, and I didn't go with Bert. Is it Bert?
Yeah, Bert. I know Bert. Yeah. In the house, Bert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went with John because I could learn from John. Bert was the sexy thing. He was with the, like it was nice over there, it looks fine. John was the get your sleeves up and get dirty and work great. That's what John Simmet taught me. A young Kojo learned everything about outside of being a stand-up comedian and promoting through John. I just added my own spin to it.
That's brilliant, Kojo. One of the things I remember, right, is when we was younger, going to shows. And one incident that always sticks away. Every time I remember, you always remember this. We're driving on the motorway in the car that you had just bought. And I don't know if you like the car or anything, but we was driving on the M1.
I don't know if you like the car.
I think on that day, God was on your side. Because you remember that the bonnet flew up and blocked your vision, but you couldn't see shit. I was calm, but I'm looking at him. This brother's trying to kill me, bro. What have I done to you?
Bro.
Do you remember that day?
Bro, I remember it like I told that story. I told that story a lot because what you didn't know is Kojo had no license. Yeah. Kojo had no license.
You told me the test. You told me not to drive because you had bought this car. You passed the test, but we didn't get it. And I don't drive because you want to drive. Listen to this fucker. He went to kill me, bro. The man's trying to kill me,
brother. Kojo had no license. Kojo had no insurance. It was my first ever car that I bought for like £300.
Yeah.
So it probably had 300 miles left on it. and the radiator was steaming up. Remember?
Brother.
Radiator was steaming up.
Don't tell me, because my life is my life.
Right, hold on 1 second. Yeah? 1 second. I just want to put on charge. 1 second.
Yeah. How many years later is the man telling me he didn't have a license and he did? Fucking hell, bro. You good?
All right, cool.
Yeah, you good? Okay, good.
Yeah,
okay, go on.
Yeah, so basically, I was like, yo, we gotta get to Birmingham, blood. We gotta get to Birmingham.
That's right. It was Birmingham.
And then the bonnet, I told this story because I always tell this story because one thing about me over the years is I don't panic. And I always use that story of showing people why I don't panic because remember, we was on the fast lane.
What?
The bonnet went back like this on the windshield.
That's right.
And what was interesting is my natural reaction was to look, you know the thing in the middle?
In between, yeah.
Slow down, look through that, gradually get on the hard shoulder.
That's right.
And then pull up, right? And I always use that analogy because that could have sent people crazy. Like, you don't think that's going to happen, just a whole bonnet going back like that. But
I was calm too, bro. I was calm because I was thinking.
You was, and you was very calm. And I think I was probably calm because you was there as well.
Yeah.
But we did the show. We went there, we did the show. Great show. We're coming back.
I said, no, brother.
And I'm pressing. Wait, you was driving. Was it you driving on the way back?
I drove on the way back.
Yes, you drove on the way back.
yes.
You're like, hold on, this thing don't work. Like,
it don't work, brother. It don't go nowhere. His car was full of shit. So.
The whole gearbox. But now, the car's just rolling now.
Yeah.
He's pressing the accelerator. Nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening, bro.
Right, man had no AA, no.
I tell you.
And then that's where the joke come from.
Yeah. That was. We had sometimes even you had parties. Like I say, I've seen you in parties. I've seen you drunk as hell in parties, bro. And I'm losing your control. No, because you're happy drunk.
Birthdays, yeah, my birthdays, yeah.
Your birthday, yeah, happy drunk. And it's almost like I had to act like a father because one time you got so drunk that you collapsed and I had to pick you up and give you some water and say, and he goes, give me another drink. I said, no, you're having water, brother.
I'll say this, man, and I don't often get to say this to you as much, but like when I look at like genuine big brothers to me in comedy, right? It's easy for me to kind of go Chappelle and Chris Rock and all these people, right? Because they're the names that most people would know. But deep down, I feel like from day one to now, you and Mr. C have been the most loyal big brothers in comedy that I could ever have, because you guys taught me so much. You were so warm to me when I started. Even through my trials and tribulations, you've always called me and been encouraging. If I'm doing something big, you've been there. If I've done something small, you've been there. And it's definitely appreciated. I've written my autobiography. It's been done now for like the last 3 years.
Okay.
Just waiting for the right time to bring it. You guys are in that book because
there you go.
of the position you guys played in my career. The little stories that we have together, the Summerfest days.
Oh yes, definitely,
Days, the comedians we've lost together.
Yeah.
Right. The lack of experience, but the knowledge we gain from having a lack of experience. I always say to people, you ask me to do a corks now, it wouldn't be as good.
Right, because it was.
Because I know too much.
Yeah.
It would be too perfect.
Yeah, you're gonna strive for perfection. I
wouldn't have chosen corks. I wouldn't have chosen corks. I would have found somewhere that's got a proper stage.
Yeah, gotcha.
It was all of our inexperience that gave us the edge, that made it fun and exciting. That to me is the closest all the comedians were, in my opinion.
Okay.
We was all close. No, you couldn't break us up then. Now we're all over the place.
Yeah. Everybody's got different things doing. Yeah.
And I think with you guys, John, Rudy, Felix, Roger D, you guys for me were like big bros, man.
There you go.
Like I couldn't have done half of the stuff that I wanted to do had you guys not shown me the blueprint, had you guys not supported and come down and be like, yo, coach, we'll be there. What that you got for me, I'll come through. Like all of that, bro, like was definitely something that allowed me to go and do the other stuff and learn different things and know that there was even more things that I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? Any opportunity I had, I hope you guys felt that I shared it with you guys. Do you know what I mean?
Indeed. So, yeah, you did. It was great.
I didn't just kind of keep things to myself. I spoke to somebody recently and I was like, if everybody notices, every time you lot came corks, I was always in the DJ booth.
Yep.
I never walked around because I didn't want the show to be about me. I kept my black ass in the DJ booth for longest, and I came out when it was time to go back on stage. I didn't walk around like, hey, yo, what's going on? This is my event. And I didn't waste no time with that. I wanted it to be about the comedians because this is the only event where we are king. When we leave here, it's about musicians, it's about that footballer, it's about all this other stuff. You come here, this is our night. This is what we're about. We're the rulers here. And that has allowed me to go on and do even more things. You might come and say hi, go.
Yeah, tell Ian I want him on here as well. But what I was going to say to you, but that's for another time. What I was going to say to you, your relationship now with Dave Chappelle, how did that come about?
That came from so Dave basically came to the comedy club.
Corks.
He came to Corks, and then he was like, oh, he was in town, and everyone was like, oh yeah, Dave Chappelle's in town. And then I was just like, I don't know him. I can't get out. And then Stan Lathan was in town as well. So then Stan was like, let's. I can get Dave to come. Because I got in touch with Stan. Stan was like, yeah, Dave's like, I'll get him to come. Came down, and then that was it. That's been my big bro for life.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Even fast forwarding it to like recently, like we did a show where we made a lot of money, and Dave said, keep that for your mom's funeral.
Oh wow, that's great. So,
like that's the relationship that came from that little seed that we planted in Cooks. You know, and every time that we're together, like we work, and he's so supportive. But the conversations that he's given me, the knowledge and the experiences, have definitely shaped how I move and why I move a certain way. Because part of it, for me, is freedom. You know, I want freedom. That's why I do what we do. I want freedom. I don't want it to just be, you know, doing something and we just out here just trying to be funny. Like, I want to be able to say things that make people uncomfortable sometimes, but not through ignorance, but through freedom, because there's things that have to be said.
I get that. So what is it for you now? 2025 is coming rapid. What is it for you, Kojo, for the future?
Well, my first show was 2000, so it's 25 years next year.
Wow, okay.
So we've got a big show coming that I'm going to announce soon. And TV and film. I'm close to getting something with the show that I created. So I want to just finalize that. And then, but there'll be some announcements very soon for next year. But it's going to be a big one. 5 years comedy full time. That has to be celebrated. So,
okay. Where could people find you, Kojo, if they want to hook you up with socials?
Everything. Kojo and him live on everything. If you still got MySpace, you can find me on that. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff. Kojo and him live, and my website is kojoanim.co.uk. That's all my dates. I will be coming back to UK around April, May, to do some shows as well. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for next year for sure, and I appreciate you.
Great stuff, Kojo. This has been a wonderful podcast. We've talked for a long time. We've covered a lot of things. You, as I say, you keep smiling, bro, and keep doing what you got to do, because you're doing it well. All right. Honor to have you on here. Thank you very much indeed, sir. You take care of yourself. People, that's Kojo Amin, and you can find him on all the social medias. He's doing big things as normal, and he's going to be great. I've said that to you when you first started on stage. I said, this guy is going to be great. And
you got to play that clip before. You should play that clip before.
I will try and edit it in. Shh.